Ms. Roberts, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes,
You
Your
got to
Honor.
speak up for me.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Chrispa Lisa Roberts, 2025 CR 04113. You're before the court for battery um, and simple battery aggrav. What is that? Because it's cutting off on my.
That's probably because it was transferred. It's
At first, it was an aggravated battery, Your Honor. It was then transferred down, and so we had to amend the accusation. So it's battery for count one and simple battery for count two.
All right. So, count one battery, count two simple battery. Mr. Lynch, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
She pleads guilty to battery, Judge. I believe simple battery would merge.
All right. Factual basis recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor. On August 27, 2024, officers were dispatched in reference to a domestic disturbance. When officers arrived on scene, he stated that him and Roberts, which is later identified as the defendant, were having a conversation where she leaned in, bit his lip, causing a deep laceration. The victim in this case was having a hard time speaking with the officers due to his injury. Officers at that point observed blood was on Miss Roberts' clothes. Those are the facts of the case, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is as follows. Your Honor, the state is requesting 12 months to serve, 180 days, balance suspended to have no contact. The reason for the state's request, Your Honor, at the age of only 27 years old, the defendant has a violent criminal history. She has completed pretrial diversion October the 6th, 2017 in Kennesaw for simple battery. She was then convicted in Cobb County for terroristic threats in 2021. She also was convicted or is currently on probation under first offender probation for ag assault, criminal trespass, terroristic threats, and simple battery. And then she has a open case in Cobb County as recent as September the 18th, 2024, a felony criminal damage to property in the second degree and a battery family violence. And she has multiple probation violations. Miss Roberts is not a great probation candidate, and she is currently on probation for a felony offense while picking up another felony in Cobb County. That's the reason for the state's request for 180 days, Your Honor.
Mr. Lynch?
Judge, a couple of things about my client. So she has been continuously incarcerated since September of 2024. She came directly to Clayton County from Cobb County. But what I want to make you aware of is that while she was in Cobb County, in county jail, she did complete several domestic violence programs. And additionally, she told me she took some additional programs in Clayton County Jail. Miss Roberts, and I believe on her most recent case, she's just been sentenced to probation. So Miss Roberts has 4 children, and she's currently.
How many children?
I'm sorry, she has 3 children, and she's currently almost 9 months pregnant.
When she have time to have children for as much time as she has been in and out of the jails? What is really going on, Mr. Lynch? Not the pretty words, not the lawyer words. Tell me why this child has been in and out of jail on felonies since 2017. And then she wants to have babies. How are you raising babies from the jail?
My client has had a hard life. I know that she started out in foster care and aged out, I believe, at the age of 21.
This is the stuff I need to hear. Like, why are you choosing this path? Or if this path chose you. But the stuff about, oh, she's taking classes, and I don't care. What I need to know is why she, one, keeps running into the Clayton County, into the judicial system, especially the felony part. And 2, how she thinks she can take care of babies when her main obligation is to the court system. So let's talk about that.
Well, Judge,
Miss
yeah,
Roberts, you can speak for yourself. Come on up here. Tell me why, A, you don't know that you're not in a situation where you probably need to bring in more babies into this world, but you're 9 months pregnant. B, why we keep having these issues. First of all, answer this question. Who's the gentleman whose lip got bit?
That's my husband. We've been in a long relationship where he's mentally ill and he likes to drink and things happen, but a lot of times we get into arguments and stuff.
Okay, let me explain something to you, Miss Roberts. And I understand that you fall in love with somebody and you want to support them. But I just read a story about a woman whose husband was mentally ill. He got out of a mental health facility just in time for their son's graduation. The 2 days before graduation, he killed all of them, all four of them, all four of them. So I'm saying you got to make good choices. So you're adding stress to an already stressful situation. You already have cases pending. Y'all are already having issues going back and forth. You're ending up in jail. He has mental health issues. You're adding babies to this situation and with no thought to what the stressors are and what they may lead to. Where's the stability? If Mr. Lynch tells me you've been in jail since September of 2024, your whole prenatal situation has been in jail, which means where are those babies that you already have?
So
Who's taking care of them?
we do have a village behind us. They go back and forth between my mother-in-law and my mother, and they kind of do visitations that way. And I do talk to them very often. I hear you about the type of situation that I'm in. I hear you.
Because the grandparents, and if they're, listen to me. I know I look incredibly young,
You too.
but I'm a grandparent, and I'm gonna tell you this. At my age, I also have very young children. So honestly, my granddaughter is right in between my kids. Straight wild situation, but I have very young children. I know what it takes at my age to keep up with these children, to make sure they have what they need, to make sure they're where they need to be, to make sure they're supported emotionally, physically, all of that. Y'all are putting pressure on women who should have this part of their life, should be in peace. Everybody wants to say, oh, well, my mom is great, my mother-in-law is great, they're helping me. But really, they're doing what they're doing because the love in their heart says they don't want these babies to end up in the system. But would they rather be in a situation where they don't have to take care of your babies on a consistent level? They can come to your house, hug on them, and leave them at your house and go back home. They don't have to be the village who is taking care of your babies while you're in jail from September 2024 to May of 2025. They don't deserve to have to raise you and raise the father and now have to raise these kids. And then with no more thought to that, you get pregnant again. Like you don't know where babies come from. And if you don't know where babies come from, I will shut down this whole operation and you and I will have a private conversation where I can explain it to you and how to prevent it so that you can have babies when you are stable and you can take care of them instead of your mother-in-law and your mother. Ms. Roberts, you have got to, at some point, you're very intelligent. I hear it. You have got to, at some point, make better choices. You've got to. Whether that means supporting your husband from afar, but making sure he gets the mental health care he needs while you take the opportunity to take care of these babies the way you should. I get that you came out of foster care and people failed you. I get that. But at some point as adults, we've got to flip that switch as, okay, I'm still dealing with my past. I'm still dealing with those issues, but I've got to make better decisions because I'm bringing a new generation into this world. They did not ask to come here, and they did not ask to come here in the situation that exists. The fact that you are 9 months pregnant with a new child that you're going to bring into this situation, and you don't even know if you're going to be able, when I was on magistrate court, the worst part of my job was having to go to Southern Regional Hospital to do first appearance hearings for mothers who were chained to the bed while they were having their babies. Chained to the bed. I would take my robe. A sheriff's deputy would drive me there, and I would go into the room with a mother who should have her family surrounding her, where nobody can visit but the sheriff's deputies guarding her, and she has a baby, and she's chained to the bed. Miss Roberts, I'm gonna need you to make better choices. All of this stuff here, these anger issues, all of the stuff that's coming out, you've had pretrial diversion to try and get you off this path. That didn't work. You've been on probation. That didn't work. At some point, you've got to make better choices because you're bringing in a group of a new group of people who they're going to grow up. If they get the opportunity to grow up, they're going to grow up just like you. Grow up hard and then face a hard life. You have got to do better. If you're producing children because you think somebody needs to love you, babies don't love you. Let me just say, they're not here to love us. They don't choose to be here. They come in and they're very selfish. You have other kids, so you know they demand things. They need things. They need care. We're here for them. They're not here for us. So don't produce babies so you can feel like somebody's loving on you. It's the opposite. But the fact that Mr. Lynch has said, well, she's 9 months pregnant, well, that is a horror to me. That's not a good thing. That's not a positive in your box of pros and cons as I consider what to do with this case, because it's not negotiated. I get to decide. And what I'm saying to you is at some point, you gotta be better than your situation. If nothing else, say, I just really can't have another baby right now. I'm going to go to fisticuffs. I know my temper. I know the situations I am in and that I have pending. I'm not good for mothering right now. Not that I never will be, but I can't add more to my situation. Now, when you have this baby, if I give you 180 days, so that's going to be smack dab into your having the baby. So you're going to be one of those people who gives birth locked to the bed at Southern Regional. And then once you have the baby, that baby's going to have to go to your village, because just because you have a baby don't mean you're going to get out of jail. So at that point, the baby doesn't get to breastfeed. The baby doesn't get to bond. The baby goes straight to jail. I mean, to the village. And if I'm not mistaken, them two women ain't breastfeeding at this point. So stop creating children for your parents to raise. It's not cute for you to tell me, well, we have a village. That's not cute. I'm not impressed. These are your babies. Your village don't want to raise your babies. You got too much to deal with. If you want to be a support to your husband who has mental health issues, then you got to be out of jail to do that. I know what I'm saying is true. And you, now, if you've never heard anything I said, if nothing else gets to you, you need some counseling. You need therapy. You need therapy. When the judges on felony court, they have those kinds of resources. You need therapy. Ask for it. Ask your attorney in superior court, I need therapy. This is my situation. I need to be ordered to go to therapy. I need that. I need it in the jail if I can get it. I need it on the outside. You need therapy. Because you got to deal with your stuff. The stuff that got you to this point, the stuff that you had to deal with in foster care, the stuff where somebody failed you. You got to deal with that. And the stuff. So It is not a positive that you're 9 months pregnant and you've been in jail since September of 2024. It is not a positive that your village is raising your children, but you keep having children. It is not a positive that you're having children with somebody who has mental health issues and they need care. And so instead of in supporting them, you're having more children, but that's a stressor. That's not a I'm gonna help you by having more children. That's not a positive. It's not a positive that you have two other children who are not getting time with their mother. You talk to them on the phone. What good is that? What good is that? They can't smell you. They can't touch you. They can't be up under you. You're not walking the floor with them when they don't feel good. You're not rubbing Vicks on their chest. You're not giving them steam to clear their congestion. You're not doing any of those things. So what good is it that you talk to them on the phone? That's not a positive. So when you go to the next judge, whoever that is, remember how I'm reacting to all of this. Don't present those as positives. Don't present that you're 9 months pregnant as a positive. It's not. And I'll just be honest with you. Oh, babies are a blessing. They are when they come into a situation where they're going to be cared for. You got me?
Understand.
Anything you want to say to me?
There's nothing that you said that I particularly disagree with. It's just I've done a lot of, classes and courses, and I have access.
Yeah, but are they helping? Because you're pregnant with your third child and you're still in jail and you're facing more jail and even more jail after I finish with you. There's stuff pending now. So have you learned anything is what I want to know. You can take all the classes in the world, but the stuff that I'm telling you and the stuff the classes are telling you, you already know.
I have learned things that I've decided to do differently is a lot of the classes, they could be put on my resume so that way I could be able to provide for my children. Another thing is I signed for the birth control that you can get put in your arm at the hospital. So there's no missing pills or nothing like that. And, with my probation, the last case that they gave me probation, they have asked that I get treatment done as a condition of the probation. So I have been looking into those type of options. I work with different agencies that are supposed to be helping me, with my parenting while I'm incarcerated. And then when I leave incarceration, as well as therapy and things of that nature. One of them is called Motherhood Beyond. The other is called Mothers Making a Change. So I'm trying to take the steps that I can and reach out to the resources that I can to make better decisions. Did I touch?
No, you
Okay. All right, Mr. At some point, this is my last thing. You're going to have to apologize to your children for abandoning them.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to have to seriously sit down and apologize to them for not being here for them, for choosing to have them in this situation, for choosing to leave them with their grandparents, for not being here for them, for choosing to have them with somebody who has severe mental health issues that's untreated and it's unstable before you bring them into the world. You're going to have to apologize to them because they didn't deserve it. None of that. Okay, Mr. Lynch, what's your recommendation? The state is asking for 180 days.
Judge, I would ask that you either sentence her to 12 months to serve 90 days with the balance suspended. That's what I would ask for, Judge.
And based on what?
Well, the amount of time that she's done, I would, based on her statements and my understanding, she has at this point started to take steps to get herself into a better situation. Judge, she's only 27 years old. A lot, still young, still time to change, Judge. Still enough time to allow her to become the mother that these children need, or at least to become a greater source of support for.
Every one of her offenses is violent.
And I understand that, Judge, but as she indicated, she has sought counseling. She has completed courses. She has looked into, therapy, as she mentioned, Judge. She has, I'm not attempting to present her length of incarceration as a positive, but I would just note that, that amount of time certainly has given her time to start taking these steps, Judge. And if Your Honor was more inclined to sentence her to a sentence that would include probationary supervision.
No. I'm not burdening any probation officer with Miss, no. No. Miss Roberts is not a probation candidate. She is not. She's messed up on probation. This is the classic where they tell you in the Ayala factors, if you give somebody a bond, you don't want somebody who's going to go out and commit another offense, particularly a felony. My understanding is she was on probation and went out and committed, or at least was charged with, another felony. So no, Mr. Lynch, no. Ms. Roberts, at some point there comes a reckoning. At some point, you hit the wall of responsibility. And this is that point. So I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. I'll sentence you on count 1 to 12 months to serve 180 days. The balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. Count 2 will merge. Ms. Roberts, take this opportunity to stop doing what you're doing, to take advantage of whatever programs they have, whatever therapy they have in the felony, but just stop. Just, if nothing else, don't have any more children for your mother and mother-in-law to raise. If they wanted more children, they could adopt some. Gotcha. All right.
Thank you,
You
Your
go
Honor.
back to the sheriff's office.
All right, that's it from my favorite judge, Judge Hayward out of Clayton County, Georgia. I actually worked close to that area, and I never noticed that I was right there beside where she was at court at. I could have went and seen her. Let's see, we've got. Let's see who all we got tonight. We got. Go to Judge West. We'll go to Judge West.
Ms. Pratt, are you gonna be able to use the restroom this morning?
Well, I was gonna talk to you about my medical.
Okay,
I don't know. They told you.
they did, but I know that even with that issue, you still go to the restroom.
3 days or so. Yeah.
So why are you
We
come up?
draw blood, I mean.
Well, we're not gonna draw blood. Come up here.
With,
Put your water here.
oh, my what?
Yes, you're gonna go before the judge.
When's the last time you smoked marijuana?
It was one of those little gummy things from the vape store.
Uh-huh.
It is THC, but
Why are you?
I just said marijuana, but it's THC, which I thought was the same.
It is the same. It'll show positive.
Okay.
It's all derived from the same stuff. And if you have a felony court case pending, I would think you wouldn't want to have anything in your system that would have you test positive, right?
Well, I'm not sure if it will. It was like a month ago. I'm on probation. I've been on it for almost a year. It's in
From
Jasper
where?
County,
Okay.
and they know about all my medical. I need a heart valve replacement, and I have a liver failure, and now it's resulted to kidney.
Okay.
So yeah,
Sounds like you need to quit doing stuff to get yourself in trouble so you can
I do.
stay
I
out
do,
and
like,
take care of yourself.
I do. I know.
So, what I'm going to do this morning, Ms. Pratt, is reset your case for you to hire a lawyer. You need to try to get a lawyer hired before the next court date.
Okay.
If you do, bring the reset notice to them, and they'll tell you what you need to do. I'm also ordering, as a condition of your probation, that you have a drug patch. You need to have a drug patch put on within 24 hours. And you will, probation, when you're walking out, the lady sitting at that desk can give you a list of places where you can get that done. You have to have it on. You wear it 2 weeks. You have to show up every 2 weeks to have it tested. If it's not testable, I'm going to assume it's positive. If you don't go show up when you're supposed to or go get it, I'm going to assume that you're using something that's illegal. Your bond will be raised and you'll be in jail. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, so you need to have that on within 24 hours. So by tomorrow, you need to have the drug patch on.
Okay.
And then don't use anything that could potentially test positive for anything. It's that simple. If you're on a probation and you've got a felony pending, you need to be crystal clean. All right?
Like 10 medicines that I'm on there.
If you are on medication that shows you to test positive, that's one thing. A gummy from the corner store is not medication, right? So bring your list of medications. If you test positive, show them. We understand. I know what things test positive for other things, but gummies aren't one of them. All right, step in front of the clerk. She'll give you your reset notice.
All right, so real quick in the comments, what do those gummies do for you? I have people, I'm in the trucking world, and I have people all the time that are failing drug tests due to gummies or Delta 9 or some of the stuff that they sell at the gas stations. And why are people putting their lives at risk for something simple like that? So I'm sure there's got to be a reason why people are spending money on it. So if you know someone in the audience or know someone that does the gummies, heck, just let me know what it does for you. All right.
Good morning. Are you Shalora Dawson? And Miss Dawson was previously in court, entered a plea of guilty to the state jail felony offense of abandoning or endangering a child. I've received the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Miss Dawson, if I test you this morning, you can have anything in your system?
Oh, no, ma'am. I did.
We're going to double check this morning before we go forward. Have a seat in the jury box.
On my thing, she told me to tell the truth.
Yes.
I bought her the dispensaries and everything, but she said that she was THC.
Right. So did they tell you probably shouldn't be doing that so you don't test positive? So I don't think you're using something illegal?
No, because it wasn't me smoking. It was something like a gummy that was supposed to help relax me.
Right. But if it's going to test positive, then I'm going to assume the worst. So we'll get to that in a minute. I want to test you this morning, see what's in your system, and then we'll go forward in a minute. Have a seat over there in that jury box. Ms. Dawson, you tested positive for THC, which I think you anticipated, but you also tested positive for ecstasy or MDMA.
Wait, what? He just said it was a steroid, though. And I got a shot. I went to the hospital. I had a bad UTI. It was bad to the point where they had to give me a shot in my butt. They told me to get in my butt, but right here, I told her I wanted to get it in my butt.
When was that?
Just last week. But MDMA, what is ecstasy?
All right, here's what we're going to do.
No, I don't like that. That's making me look bad. That's making me look bad.
Well, listen, Miss Dawson, listen.
I don't like
There's worse things in here that are making you look bad than testing positive for that. Just listen. All right, you're going to get your probation. I'm going to do that today, but there's going to be some conditions so that I make sure that you're not using anything that you're not supposed to, including gummies or anything that you think, whatever it is.
Can I tell you this? I'm not an abuser. Last year I was just working for the state of Texas. I'm not an abuser at all. I don't.
Listen.
I just want to know.
We're going to find out. Then you're not going to have trouble. Listen, Miss Dawson, just pay attention to me for a minute, okay? You're okay, all right? Anything that makes you look bad or that you feel like isn't true, all you have to do, you're going to be on probation, is be successful on probation, and that's all we all want, okay? So listen, you already told me, you've already said it, okay? I understand that you're not sure what this is. Maybe it's from the shot. It's okay. All right. We're going to make sure from this point forward that you don't have any issues you'll have certain rules on probation to follow, and then there won't be any issues, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
I wasn't talking about that. I was just trying to express you, which I know you did say I was gonna have my time to talk. I'm not. I just want you to know I'm not an abuser.
Okay, you said
I
that.
don't abuse
Okay,
drugs. Like I just.
you said that. You've already said it.
I told you.
But listen, the most important thing is that you figure out how to get your life together for your child. That's what we're really here about today. That you make better decisions than leaving a 2-year-old in a hotel by themselves. That's what I'm worried about. Do you understand? Not a THC gummy, not whatever other thing that happened today. I want you to get your life together. You're young. You have had issues. I see what's going on with your family in here. But we want to break whatever cycle that you've been a part of so that you can be there for your child. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's what we want. The best for you, the best for your child, for you to be able to make those better decisions. All right. So I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty previously, freely and voluntarily. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney. I'm going to defer all proceedings, place you on probation for 3 years. You're ordered to pay the $300 fine and to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. That is going to include being assessed for any special needs that you need, any counseling, whatever it is you need. We're going to have you assessed for that. And if they say you need to go to a counselor or you need it, whatever it is, those are things to help you, and you're going to be required to do them. Do you understand? And you'll obviously be required to test regularly. So any type of gummy, any type of anything, doesn't matter if they say in the shop it won't test positive, don't do any of them. Because even if you go buy it legally, I can't know the difference. It's just going to show up on a test. So don't do any of that. If you need some help with something making you feel better, then go through that counseling and do it the right way through a doctor. Okay?
That's what I was going to tell you. Like, I've been on a medicine that they
Good.
prescribe, like spinal tap.
Good.
I just don't like feeling like dead inside. But taking it. Like,
I know. And I know there's certain medicines and they don't make you feel
that's
great.
my only thing. I just
But you
feeling
can't.
disconnected from being a parent.
Right. Well, talk to them about that because there's probably other medicines that they can try.
Yeah,
Okay. But what you don't want to do is stop taking that medicine and then self-medicate with a gummy or something like that. Okay. That's what you can't do. So continue talking to them. Say, I don't like the way this one makes me feel. Let's try something different. And they'll find something that eventually makes you feel right, kind of in a balance. Okay. If you do everything you're supposed to while you're on this probation, this is an excellent opportunity. You don't have criminal history. You're not going to be a convicted felon. If you successfully complete it, the case gets dismissed at the end. You're going to get to be a mom. You're going to get regular jobs, do all the things that everybody else does. Okay. The other side of that is if you violate any condition of probation. So if you don't show up for appointments, you test positive, you get arrested or whatever, you can be brought back in here and you could be found guilty. So you would be a convicted felon. And then you could go to the state jail prison for up to 2 years. Do you understand? All right. You just need to have a seat here in the courtroom. Probation's going to call you up when she's ready to go over your paperwork. Okay.
And I do want to apologize for me over talking. That's not my character.
That's okay. You're nervous. I know you're nervous. I know. We're good. All right. Good luck to you, ma'am. Oh, here's the, hold on. I didn't hand this. It's a trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed. So you've waived your right to appeal. So just have a seat here in the courtroom and wait for her to call you up.
All right, so Josh, JJJS, I've got an update for the Monopoly Girl. I went to her TikTok channel today to try to find the video, and dang sure enough, hold on, I think I messed up my mic. There we go. Dang sure enough, she had reached out to me in January, but I'm not good at TikTok, and so I didn't notice she had reached out, so I sent her message today. She had deleted the dancing video, though, so I didn't get to have that, so that happens. Cher, thanks for 3 months of membership. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Fozzie, you are absolutely right. It's been one of those days. It feels like it's been Monday all day today, so we'll figure it out. Got Dally talking in the crowd. Thank you, Dally, for coming out. Let's go to Let's go to Judge O'Donnell. Judge O'Donnell.
Your Honor, we're here today in the state of Ohio versus Candace Martin, case number 24-CR-1342. The defendant is present with counsel Bill Watson. We were before Judge Condon on April 7th at that time at a change of plea hearing, and the defendant pled guilty to count 1, aggravated possession of drugs, a felony of the 5th degree with a forfeiture specification, and to count 4, possession of drugs, a felony of the 5th degree with a forfeiture specification. During that hearing, a pre-sentence report and drug and alcohol evaluation were ordered. Those have since been completed, and the defendant has 41 days of jail time credit. Thank you.
Mr. Watson. Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. I'll be brief. I know we had discussions in chambers off the record, but Ms. Martin is a woman with a serious drug problem. And like most drug addicts, she was in denial, doesn't think there's a problem, and tries to pin blame on others. That being said, Your Honor, she spent the past 40 days in county jail. So after her change of plea, there was an issue with her submitting. She refused to submit initially a sample. So she was held. And so she spent 40 days in jail. And obviously, you know, she's sobered up now. She's cleaned up sitting there. She's a little bit clear-minded. I've been able to talk to her. And Ms. Martin has expressed to me that she does want to change, that she does want an opportunity at probation and treatment, Your Honor. Now, my office had reached out to Lake Geauga. They could have a bed available for her, but based upon the recommendations that were submitted, they did not secure one as of yet. But just letting the court know that there are options out there to get her into a bed immediately if that's what the court were to choose. You know, I know Ms. Martin has somewhat of a history mainly with drugs. And I also know that in the past she's had treatment opportunities that she has failed to successfully complete. But I think sometimes it takes an individual to hit rock bottom to finally realize that there are true issues in their life. And I think Ms. Martin has hit that point. I'm respectfully asking the court to take these factors into consideration and consider a community control sanction with the treatment program. Thank you, Your Honor.
What do you want to tell me?
Good morning, Your Honor. He's right. I basically did blame everybody for all my actions for a long time, but it's me. It was always me.
Including this night, right? Because you said none of that stuff was yours.
Part of it really, truly wasn't, but there's...
Then why did you plead guilty?
Well, they didn't really even charge me with the stuff that some of the stuff they seen in there, like scales and things like that, did belong to my niece, but the product pretty much was mine. The medicine, the pills, started with addiction, with pain, then it was going to school, then it was work, and then it was just trying to make it to work, not being sick anymore. I had a lot going on with my sister and a breakup, and started to fall off again. I got myself off of opiates in like 2022, 2023. I have no desire to go back to those again, but I don't know, I was feeling that energy and I
Since when?
Again. What's that?
Since when?
Since 2023, like the opiates alone.
So you make it very hard to believe anything you're saying.
I know it.
Well, I mean, why am I going to put you on probation? You've been through treatment at least 5 times. Left Oak House the last time you went there. So why would I put you on probation? What is it there is to accomplish by putting you on probation?
For me to be home with my family that needs me.
What does that have to do with your drug problem?
I need to go to the meetings and be held accountable.
Okay, well, why didn't you do that? You've been through treatment how many times?
Just got busy with life and didn't take care of myself. I've never really done for myself. I always do for others.
So what is treatment going to do for you?
Give me time to think about me and myself and what I need to do for me instead of everybody else all the time.
But you already completed treatment. Do you think they're going to tell you something magically different this time than they told you the last 4 times?
Well, a lot of times I didn't really listen. I just looked at the clock and was ready to go. Somebody actually told me to sit down and listen and relate to the things that I'm hearing. And I actually did, and I do.
Why does everybody that comes in here say the same thing to me? Over and over. And expect me to believe it.
It's the truth.
I don't know what the truth is. Only you know what the truth is. I have no idea what the truth is. All I do is look at what the record is, what your history is. And 5 years ago, you had a chance to get out of here without a criminal record, and you completely blew that off.
Yes.
So I'm supposed to think now it's somehow different? Why are you living in Ashtabula and working in Wycliffe?
My friends own it, but good friends of mine, and she's sickly. I was trying to help her get through it.
It's an awful strange circumstance.
So I live in it. My house is in Euclid, and I left it.
Why do I have an address of...
It's being rented right now. It's a rental property. I had to get away from a bad situation.
Where do you live in Euclid? Did you know that? Why didn't Miss Crook know it?
I don't live there anymore.
Where do you live?
Well, I own a home in Euclid, but I live out in Ashtabula.
That's what I just said. You're going from Ashtabula to the Lucky 7.
Yeah, well, I was in the middle of a breakup, 15-year breakup, so I left my own home.
Can I speak on Candace's VA?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm her mom, and I know she was doing good there for a while, for like 6 years. She was really doing good, and then a lot of stuff happened in our lives. My daughter got sick, and Candace is a big help to me. She really is. My daughter is sick. She has cancer. She had a stroke. She had seizures. And Candace really does come over and help me a lot with the kids in the house. And she was doing really good until all this stuff started happening in our lives. And some people cope in different ways. And as far as her going from Ashtabula to that work, she stays with the lady that owns the store most of the time. She doesn't travel that far back and forth all the time. And I really think this time she will do good at drug treatment, because she's got to realize, a lot of people need her. And I'd really appreciate it if you would consider it, please. Thank you, Your Honor.
So if all these people are relying on you, why are you just using all these drugs? There's no answer to that, right? There's no answer you're going to give me that's going to make any sense. Okay, so where were you getting the drugs?
Friends, people, associates I knew and met over the years.
Like who?
People from Euclid and Cleveland area near the job.
Like who?
Mike D or something names.
Like who?
What's that?
Who?
There's a handful of different people you can call and try to find stuff.
Okay, for the 5th time, who?
Just can't.
I mean, it's like Mike D. There's Dave. I mean, there's just.
How do you meet these people?
People that work on cars or.
I know, but
stores.
What do you do? Call them up and say I need whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you have their numbers?
Just kept them in my phone over the years.
Why?
I honestly can't answer.
Now, if your mom says you were doing good for a period of years, why would you keep the numbers of these dregs of society in your phone?
Poor decisions.
Right. So why did you make that poor decision? If what your mom says is true, okay, I'm gonna take it as being true and you were doing well instead of acting like you were doing well. Why would you keep those numbers in there to go back to that mess that you were in 5 years ago?
Her just to know that I could do that. It's like she said it is, I do use it for coping and I shouldn't. That doesn't do anything but make it worse. Every single way in my life, it's made it so much worse. It may feel good for the time, but it never ends well for me at all. I don't know why I thought it'd be okay taking something for energy or pain or anything, any kind of substance. Does not help.
No, it doesn't.
Short term, in the moment, maybe felt like it did for a second, but even my nephew made a comment about a zombie on TV. Said it looks like you at night, and that's what made me start realizing, wow, this 6-year-old noticed that I looked different a certain time of day. Even stuff like that got to me. I was ready to change. I just wasn't able to do it on my own yet. And everything happens for a reason, though.
Right, it does. Okay, but you don't act like you don't have any control over things happening, because you do have complete control over what happens. How many, after you were here last time, how long I'm going to depend on you being honest with me, which is a dubious prospect, but how long did you stay away from taking drugs?
2 years.
3 years?
2.
2 years? Okay. So presumably for 2 years, you had a chance to see what life was like without getting high all the time. And then you made a decision to start going back to that again. Do you like this more than that?
No.
Then why are you doing it?
I felt like it would help me at the time. I was miserable at home. I was living in hell for a year. I went back on opiates and got off of them on my own.
What do you mean you got off them on your own?
I quit taking them and went through the withdrawal. And I finally didn't crave them anymore. I didn't think about them, didn't want them.
Okay.
But I used other means and other drugs to pacify it.
Why?
Because of the energy and it picked me up, and I knew it would help you get off of them.
So magic meth gives you energy?
It helps you get off of them, going through the withdrawals.
How do you expect you can help your mother and your sister when you're getting high all the time?
I feel it was just temporary.
Huh?
I can't. It's temporary. It's gonna deplete my body, and I'm not gonna be there for nobody. My poor nephew misses me like crazy. I know it. I'm his little buddy. It's disappointing to see how many people I hurt or needed me. My friends at the store, my mom, the kids.
All right, have a seat, Ms. Bell.
Thank you, Your Honor. I had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report in this case, and while certainly Ms. Martin's statements are concerning, the drugs weren't hers, blah, blah, she doesn't have a problem, it does seem that she's had some time to reflect on that, and her tune has changed a little bit. She doesn't have any prior prison. She has had significant, she's had 5, based on my count, 5 treatment opportunities in the past, so the state's not entirely confident that time number 6 will be any different. However, the state would ask for a sentence of community control in this case. Thank you.
I'm not sure, and it doesn't matter to me, okay, but I'm not sure why these recommendations are being made by either the state, the defense, or probation. Because all we seem to do in this place is get our tires stuck in the mud, try to get out of it by hitting the accelerator. And we all end up right in the same place again. I'm not sure why you want to be on probation. when you've determined you want to live your life by getting high. So I'm not sure what it accomplishes. Because as you've admitted to me, you didn't get anything out of treatment before because you were just interested in getting through it so you could complete that term, right? And as a result, here you are again. I'm not sure why you need probation or what it accomplishes. The reason given by Miss Bell, which is fine, okay, is that, as she said to me before we came out here, was she doesn't think that this situation warrants a prison sentence. So that's kind of what we're left with. Putting somebody in prison that really, on the facts and circumstances, doesn't necessarily warrant a prison sentence. Or put you on probation so you can blow it off once again. What's the result? This is the result. But I'll play along. I've reviewed the pre-sentence report and the evaluation and considered all the statutes. I'm going to put you on probation for 4 years. 60 days in jail with credit for 41. You're going to go to Oak House, complete that program and follow the recommendations. When you get a spot at Oak House, then the balance of these 60 days will be suspended. No drugs or alcohol with screens. You're to go to only one doctor and one dentist and one pharmacy for any medication. Take any medication you're prescribed, only as prescribed. Sign releases for probation, get a mental health evaluation, and follow all recommendations. Pay the cost and supervision fees, and complete the decision points program through probation. Ms. Crook?
The males are in the decision point program.
Why is that? Females make excellent decisions all the time, so they don't need it?
No, but it's just for males at this time.
It seems inequitable. Any other terms, Ms. Crook?
No, Your Honor. I do have just a question about where her residence will be when she...
I don't know. She'll have to tell you, and then she'll either be honest with you or dishonest with you. Where do you plan to live so we know who your probation officer will be? Do you understand the terms?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you going to put forth any effort to comply with the terms this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, that doesn't mean just putting in your time and doing what you're supposed to do. That means beyond a completion of probation, continuing to live the same way. But listen, you decide whether you want to do that.
I do.
If you don't comply, the state will file a motion to terminate. If I find you violated, then we'll know for damn certain that you don't want anything to do with this, so you'll go to prison for 24 months. You understand that?
Yes.
Even though the facts and circumstances may not warrant it, that's where you'll go. Remaining charges are dismissed. Whatever is subject to forfeiture is forfeited. Ms. Bell, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Watson?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
All right, that's the end of that one. We're going to do a court addict with ATX Alley over on American Courts 2. When they get some of the closing credits, it's going to throw everyone over there. If you got time, come on over and check it out. If you don't, tomorrow we're going to have a hearing with this judge here, Judge O'Donnell in Ohio. So we're going to have a hearing with that. So tomorrow it's going to be a longer format. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do on the daytime. I don't know that we're going to see Judge Fleischer anytime soon. I get a lot of comments about the Judge Fleischer thing, and I get a lot of messages we didn't do anything in our chat to cause it. It was the dumb YouTubers out there making the stupid clickbait titles. That was, they do it for clicks, but it ends up hurting people. And, if you're a young college student working at the DA's office and you're seeing YouTube thumbnails with you on it, you're going to complain. That's just natural to complain. And how long before Judge Fleischer feels like he's creating a bad work environment for his people? So the best way to support Judge Fleischer is to just continue being positive, continue being responsible, talk good, talk good in comments. Don't go in there and insulting people, and just keep rolling there. But yeah, we're getting ready to throw the ending credits on, and it'll take me just a minute or two to figure out the court addict thing, but we'll start that up on American Courts too. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you over there. If I can figure out how to press the button. It's amazing I get away from this for a few days, and I got to ask Emily how to do the show anymore.